Gilgamesh paper.
Oh, sure. Which prompt did you choose for the paper?
Well, I'm comparing Gilgamesh with the story in Genesis.
Oh, excellent. Very nice. Okay, have you started writing your paper yet?
No?
Okay, so what exactly do you need help with? Is it the prompt? Do you need help understanding the prompt?
Yeah, I first need help with comparing and contrasting.
Ah, okay. So you're comparing Gilgamesh to the story of Genesis, right? But I want you to forget about that for a second. So think about something that you enjoy, like the last movie you saw.
Iron Man.
Oh, Iron Man, okay. So you like Iron Man?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about Iron Man, and if you can think of Iron Man and another superhero like Batman, for example. Okay, so what do Iron Man and Batman have in common?
They're both superheroes.
Okay, so they're both superheroes. Anything else?
They're both rich.
Both rich.
They make their own stuff.
Okay, so they make their own stuff.
And they're smart.
Alright, so two rich, smart dudes who make their own stuff, and they're superheroes. Okay, well they sound pretty similar. Are they exactly alike?
No.
Okay, what makes them different?
Well, I guess Batman is more of a loner.
Okay, so Batman, loner. What makes him a loner?
He only acts alone, I guess.
Okay, so he doesn't act with his friends.
Now, Iron Man, he has the Avengers.
Oh, okay, right, so he works with others. Anything else?
Batman has a Teflon suit. Well, Iron Man is made out of iron.
Okay, alright, so he wears iron. Batman dresses in Teflon. Okay, anything else that makes him different? That makes Iron Man different from Batman?
Batman only protects Gotham, while Iron Man can protect the whole Earth.
Oh, okay, excellent. So Iron Man, he protects everyone, basically. And then Batman only is just worried about protecting. Okay, so there's a lot of things that make them different. Why do you think that matters? So, even just in terms of which one of these guys you think is more admirable, what is it about their differences that makes you think that?
I guess I think Iron Man is more admirable because, well, he can protect everyone, I guess. He works with others. It's just more... I forgot what I was going to say.
You can kind of, well, it's okay. I mean, you can kind of relate to him more, right?
Right.
I mean, because you have friends, you're concerned with protecting people, I hope. Okay, whereas Batman, he's a loner, okay, and he doesn't have any friends, he's just focused on his own thing, and not many people can relate to that, right? But because of Iron Man's differences, it makes him more of a relatable, and even somebody that you might admire more than Batman. Okay, so, now, I want you to apply that same reasoning to Gilgamesh and Genesis. Alright, so first, I want you to tell me how they are the same. So what do they have in common?
Yes, they're both origin stories.
Okay.
They're from two different civilizations.
Okay, so they're from two different civilizations, but they're also kind of, they also both have to do with how man becomes civilized too, right?
Right.
Okay.
They both have a tragic end.
Oh, okay.
They're both tempted.
Okay, so they both involve some sort of temptation in the story. Alright, so they sound pretty similar, but They're not exactly the same, right? Okay, so what makes Gilgamesh different from Genesis?
I guess in Gilgamesh, the woman is attempted Enkidu.
Okay. So it was a lady doing the tempting.
In Genesis, the woman Eve was tempted by the snake.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely different. So here you have the woman being tempted by a creature. In Gilgamesh, you have the woman tempting a man, Enkidu. Okay, good. Anything else?
At the end, Gilgamesh went willingly into civilization.
Okay.
It was Enkidu.
Right, yeah. So that was Enkidu. So Enkidu is the one that was wild, but in the end, he goes willingly into civilization, whereas in Genesis, what happens?
They were kicked out of Eden.
They were just kicked out and they had to fend for themselves. And that was a very sinful thing that they did, so they were punished forever and ever. Alright, so this is how these two stories are different. Can you tell me why that matters? So why does it matter that Enkidu went willingly into civilization? Why does it matter that Adam and Eve just got kicked out of paradise?
I guess they're different in how they view civilization. Like Gilgamesh was seen as a wild man first, and then Enkidu was seen as a wild man first, and then Gilgamesh wanted to bring him into civilization, so he tempted him.
Okay.
And with Adam and Eve, they were both in paradise.
Okay.
But after Eve was tempted by the snake, God kicked them out, and then so after that they created civilization.
Okay, and then do you think that civilization has a very positive feeling in the story of Genesis?
No.
What about in Gilgamesh?
Yeah, it's more positive.
Okay, so because of these differences, they're both origin stories, but the differences in them show that the Babylonian culture, like you said, kind of had a more positive view of civilization, whereas the ancient Hebrews, civilization was not very good, right? Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so now you're going to have to put this in a paper, okay? So remember in class, I wrote this on the board earlier here, this is how you're going to structure your paper. So you don't want to just sit down and say, I'm going to write the whole thing. Oh, you'll go crazy, okay? I would go crazy if I had to do that too. What you have to do, you need to break it down by paragraph and then focus on, all right, first I'm going to write the introduction. Next I'm going to write one paragraph comparing, so telling how these two stories are the same. Then after that, another paragraph, a separate task. This is just telling how these two stories are different. And then finally, your third body paragraph, that's going to be saying why this matters, okay? And then at the end, you just want some brief conclusion, okay? Kind of wrap everything up and have some closing remarks about these stories that you read, okay? But again, it's very important. You don't want to write the whole paper at once. You want to break it down by paragraph so that you can make sure it's organized, and it's a lot easier to do that way. Okay, so what about the introduction? When you write an introduction, how do you usually do that?
I feel like it's better to make a thesis statement first.
Definitely. You're absolutely right. So you want to start with your thesis statement, which in this case would be what you told me about civilization. How these two cultures have a different view of civilization, and you can see that through the differences in their origin myths. Okay? So first you write that thesis statement, okay? So you take those words that we just said and you make them nice and pretty. That's your thesis statement. And then you want to work backwards from that thesis statement, okay? Because your introduction, it starts out very broad, and then it slowly narrows down to that thesis statement. But if you get this part first, it'll be really easy to think of, okay, what can I start off with to lead up to this? Okay? So it seems a little backwards to start with the last sentence and then jump to the top, but as you said, that really will make it a lot easier. Okay, All right, so it seems like you're ready to write your paper. So tell me, what do you plan to do? How do you plan to write this paper?
Well, I guess first I would work more on like comparing and contrasting
Okay.
the stories, and then I would try to make my outline and try to work on those individually,
Okay, each paragraph.
paragraphs. And then I'll focus on my introduction, working my thesis statement and working backwards, and just editing and finishing.
That's it. Yeah. So that's once you do that thesis statement there, write your introduction, and you can start on body paragraph 1, 2, finally get to your conclusion, and then like you said, you want to review that and edit it and revise. All right.